Hello and welcome to the webinar. I'm Anita Henderson, the author's midwife, and I'm so glad you joined me to learn 5 top tips to begin your author journey. As a smart leader, you know that having a book of your own is one of the best ways to leverage your knowledge, your story, your brand, and your legacy. Your book can open doors for you in your career and as you create the next phase of your life. That's how you leverage your leadership. So let's make sure you start the author journey on the right foot. I'm going to teach you a couple of things that you need to know just to get started. I coach all of my clients to begin their book process in this particular way. So hopefully you got a chance to download the accompanying worksheet for this webinar, and you can follow along and actually record your answers on that worksheet. Getting started writing a book, not always the easiest thing when you don't know what to expect. And that's why smart professionals and leaders seek coaching. A lot of people have never heard of an author coach, but we actually do exist. I'm proud to have coached numerous professionals and leaders to write and publish their books, helping them gain vast visibility and credibility in their industries. And I'm happy to help you with this quick webinar to lay the groundwork for your amazing book. So let's get started. If you're like most brand new authors, you probably have absolutely no idea what it takes to begin your journey as an author. And for most people, they want to jump right in and start writing the book, which is fine, but you might want to back it up a couple of steps and really lay the ground floor so that every word, every sentence, every paragraph you write in your book is leading you to the direction of success. So let's lay the groundwork with these 5 top tips to help you begin your author journey on the right foot. The first tip is to know your why. Your why. Why are you doing this in the first place? You don't have to write a book, but so many professionals and leaders do just that. So what's your why? What's your purpose? It may not be what you think is the beginning of writing your book, but trust me, it is. Because if you don't know why you're doing it, any excuse, any disruption, any distraction will keep you from finishing your amazing books. Mike Pitcher, one of my clients, was a corporate CEO, and he was nearing retirement, really very much looking forward to the next chapter in his professional career, and he wanted to get on the speaking stage in a big way. As a keynote speaker and a session presenter, he had already presented his signature talk, 7 Elements of Leadership, and interestingly, that became the title of his book, 7 Elements of Leadership for a New Breed of Leader. So Mike already knew that he wanted to use the content he had spoken about for years, in fact decades, turn it into a book, and then get on the stage in a bigger way. And in fact, he did that. He knew why he was writing this book when he went into beginning the process to become author of. Ultimately, knowing your why will give you clarity and focus as you continue your book project. Take a look at the worksheet and identify a couple of reasons why you would want to write a book. There are a few there to check off the list, so hopefully you downloaded that worksheet. Otherwise, give some dedicated time to thinking about why you want to write your book in the first place. That's really key to getting started. Number 2, know your ideal reader and know what they should take away from your book. Knowing who your ideal reader is at the beginning of your book project is going to help you write content that will benefit them in the long run. Now, first, I want you to think in terms of one person. Oftentimes, we want to think about the thousands and hopefully millions of people who will read your book, but let's focus in on one specific reader. We'll call that person an avatar. The reason you want to be clear about who your ideal reader is so that you can provide that reader with exactly what they need to get from your book. Tana Gilday, one of my clients, understood from the very start who her ideal reader was. Tana is a certified financial planner and a certified public accountant who works with families to build a solid financial legacy, and she wanted to make sure that those families could reach the next generation of wealth builders as they began their life and their career. She focused specifically on recent college graduates and decided to write the book, The Graduate's Guide to Money. helping those young people build a solid financial future. Tana was clear on the demographics and the psychographics of her ideal reader, and I want you to do the same thing. So take a look at your handout and check off and fill in as many of those specific demographics and psychographics as you can think of, and add some more just to be very, very clear on who you're writing for. Because every single word, every sentence, and every paragraph in your book should satisfy some usefulness to your ideal reader. Now, once you've identified your ideal reader, we need to think about what they should take away from the book, right? Think about that at the beginning, and you'll be sure to write in that direction towards the end. Should your ideal reader be inspired by the lessons and the stories that you share? Should they now know how to do something new and unique? Should they understand a different approach to a time-honored tradition? Either way, you need to define and decide on what the takeaway is for your reader, and honestly, it should be clear to them as they read the book, so that by the time your ideal reader gets to the end of your book, it's quite obvious what they should do next. Remember, think about what your readers should think, what they should feel, and what they should do during and after reading your book. Number 3, be clear about what you know. What are you bringing to the author table? You've got to be clear about what you're sharing with your ideal reader. As a professional and a leader, you probably already have a platform, whether that's your career or your business or something else. Maybe you've been speaking for years about a particular topic and now you want to share it in your book. Shelley Hamill is a leadership coach to Fortune 500 companies, and over the years, she's developed a leadership coaching approach. And she knew that's what she wanted to teach in her book, Win-Win Leadership: How Great Leaders Build High-Performing Teams. So what she did was take her coaching approach that she does in small group sessions with her clients and bring that to the book writing table. So what's your secret sauce? What are you bringing to the book writing table? Be clear about that. Write it down on your worksheet. You can expand on it later, but let that be part of the foundation you lay as you become author of. Number 4, define what success looks like for you. Sometimes success could be something measurable, or it could be something emotional. So on the measurable end, you may be thinking about business growth, or number of clients, or leads that you could attract using your book. On the emotional side, you may be thinking about using your book specifically to satisfy a long-term, lifelong goal. You could possibly be using your book to satisfy the need to inspire and encourage other people. So that's more of a feel-good thing, but either way, these are success ends in and of themselves, and it's something that you need to define at the beginning of your book. One of my clients, Heather Rogers, is a professional organizer, and she wrote the book, A Simplified Life. Through our coaching sessions, Heather got very clear about why she was writing the book and what success looks like for her at the end of the process. Heather wanted to grow her professional organizing practice, and she wanted to gain visibility in her particular industry. And so as a result of writing this book, she not only managed to attract a number of media interviews, and she was also elected president of the local chapter of a national organization. And finally, number 5, define your commitment. Believe it or not, it takes a commitment to write a great book. It takes a time commitment. And for busy professionals, that can be one of the most difficult things to commit to. There are distractions, there's travel, there are meetings, and a multitude of other things that could take you away from the focus of writing and finishing your book. But you've got to make the commitment at the very beginning. So what are you willing to sacrifice to get your book done? Are you willing to eliminate distractions? Are you willing to adjust your schedule? Are you willing to carve out focused writing time to get the first draft of your book complete? You decide on what your level of commitment is. And here's a hint. If you're not committed to finishing your book within several months, maybe a year at the most, I suggest you don't start the project right now. Believe me, the benefits and the feel-good of finally accomplishing your goal of writing a book are far greater than whatever sacrifice you have to make along the way. So there you have it, 5 top tips to begin your author journey on the right foot. So let's review. Number 1, know your why. Number 2, know your ideal reader and their takeaway or benefits. Number 3, be clear about what you know. Number 4, define what success looks like for you as an author. And number 5, determine your commitment. So, are you ready to write the book? I sure hope you are. It's time to leverage your leadership to make an impact and to leave a legacy. Imagine that by this time next year, you could be author of. Your book won't write itself. You have to do it, and I can help you. Go ahead and complete the form and submit it, and I'll get back with you with next steps. I look forward to you being author of very, very soon, and I'd love to coach you through the process. I'm Anita Henderson, the Author's Midwife, and it's been my pleasure to present this webinar to you.